If you are sick and tired of your lower back hurting, or you're terrified of your lower back hurting, then this video is for you. Now we need to start off by seeing what the state of the union is for your lower back, and we're going to do that by starting off with this isometric Romanian deadlift, which is exactly what you see me doing right here. Now the goal is to be able to do this for 1 minute without pain in your lower back. Now I want you to notice my knees are not back behind me and they're not locked out and they're not bent too much. That's going to affect this. We just want to keep our knees directly over our ankles. So go ahead and pause the video and get an assessment for how your lower back feels. Okay, so step one, we've assessed, we've knocked that out. Step two is to stretch everything out that might be too tight. And we're gonna start by stretching out our hip flexors. Now they pull the hips down like this. So if they're too tight, it's going to cause a lot of grief on your lower back. So we're going to use this couch mobility. At our gym, we like to call it the ouch mobility to help loosen up those hip flexors. Now, if you're super tight, you might not need to do what I just did, which is bring my leg up into a lunge position. You may just need to squeeze your glutes and just press your hips into the floor. And if you feel a lot of tension there, then don't move. Just hang out right here exactly where you see me and just get a really good stretch. If you need a little bit more stretch because maybe you're not so tight here, then you can bring that leg up like you're doing a lunge, and you can use your arm to press into your leg and get your chest up a little bit higher. Now, the thing that you don't want to do is you don't want your lower back to come undone willy-nilly because that's a loss of your midline. See what I just did there? My lower back came up and I'm just kind of moving around and it looks like I'm getting a whole lot done, but again, we're trying to focus on that hip flexor, so don't worry about how high your chest is. Focus on the stretch in your hip flexor, which is where your hip crease is. So what I want you guys to do is hold this couch mobility for 2 minutes on each side. Don't let your lower back come undone like I just did. I want you to go ahead and pause the video and get an assessment for your hip flexors. Our next stretch is an IT band smash. Now, if you have a foam roller, go ahead and grab it, and you're literally just gonna roll from the top of your knee basically to the bottom of your pocket. If you don't, you can also do this with a lacrosse ball or a softball or a baseball, which won't feel good. I mean, none of them feel good, but those particularly don't feel good. But the idea is to basically just roll over that IT band. Now, if you can't do what I just did and have both feet up on that thing, then go ahead and put one foot on the ground so you can better dictate how much pressure you have on that IT band. I want you guys to do 1 to 2 minutes on each side. If it feels really tough, go for 2 minutes. Pause the video, smash out those IT bands. This next one is called the world's greatest stretch. You're gonna start off in a plank position and then throw that foot up there, basically like you're doing a lunge. You're gonna squeeze your butt cheeks, you're gonna drop that back knee. Then you're going to raise that arm up and try to stick those fingers up into the ceiling. So we're basically getting a stretch everywhere from head to toe. Now you're gonna hold this for 2 minutes on each side, and as you're holding it, you wanna try to squeeze those shoulder blades so that you're opening up your chest. And you also notice that my ankle is directly underneath my knee, and that's exactly where you want that in order to get the best stretch possible. This is kind of a catch-all stretch. If you missed something during the couch mobility, we're gonna find it here. Go ahead and pause the video and do 2 minutes each side. This last stretch is an assisted squat sit. So what you're gonna do is grab a hold of a door frame or a pole or something, and you're gonna try to push your knees forward. Now this particular variety is gonna help you stretch out your calves and your ankles. Now if you don't have tight calves or ankles, you wanna try to basically use that wall to bring your body down into a lower squat, and that's gonna help stretch out your lower back, your adductors on the inside of your thighs, and just anywhere that we may have missed. Careful you don't let your heels pop up as you're doing this one. I want you guys to go ahead and do this for about 3 minutes. Feel free to bounce around to different positions and don't let your body come undone. If you lose tension everywhere, you're not gonna feel a stretch. Go ahead and pause the video and do your assisted squat sit. Step 1 is assess, step 2 is stretch, step 3 is activate everything that should be working. And we're gonna activate your abs and your glutes at the same time by doing a plank with a hip extension. So that leg being raised up in the air is the hip extension that we're looking for. You can do this on your elbows or you can do this up on your arms. What I want you guys to do is hold this for 2 minutes. Go 5 seconds on your one leg, switch, 5 seconds on the other leg. If you gotta break it up, that's fine. But accumulate 2 minutes of this plank with a hip extension. Carefully don't let your lower back come undone, and make sure that your hands Don't scoot too far out in front of your shoulders, otherwise it's gonna wind up in your lower back. Okay, pause the video. The second activation, we're gonna focus on the side of your hip or your side butt. And this is just a side plank, but I want you to actively press your knee into the ground and squeeze your glutes as hard as you can, like you're trying to hold in a fart as you're doing this. And this is gonna help wake up more of our glutes to help protect our lower back. So here's a butt shot for you. What you're gonna do is just push that knee in the ground, squeeze those glutes nice and hard, raise those hips up as high as you can. I want you guys to accumulate 2 minutes on each side for these side planks, and do these on the knees. Pause the video, make it happen. All right, step 1, we assessed everything that was going on. Step 2, we stretched out all the muscles that were too tight. Step 3, we activated the muscles that need to be more activated. And then step 4 is we integrate everything that we just learned into a larger movement pattern so we can actually train our body to prevent low back pain from happening. How we're gonna do that today is by doing some body weight squats. So I want you to do 15 body weight squats, just about the same pace that I'm going out, and I want you to keep these things in mind. 1, keep your feet nice and flat. 2, make sure your knees are going off to the side and going the same direction that your toes are pointing. 3, try to get your hip crease below your knee. And last, 4, keep your back nice and straight. And make sure that you're taking your time trying to use your glutes to get you down to the bottom of the squat, and more importantly, out of the bottom of the squat, keeping your abs tight the entire time. Go ahead and pause the video, do your 15 bodyweight squats now. All right, now that we've gone through the entire process, it's time to retest. Let's get back into that isometric Romanian deadlift and let's see if we are better, same, or worse. Can you hold this isometric Romanian deadlift for an entire minute without low back pain? Remember, you don't want your knees to be hyperextended, you don't want them to be nice and locked out, and you don't want them to be too bent. You want those ankles directly underneath your knees. Gang, if this video has helped you out, I want you to remember that we are all about strengthening your muscles and your joints so you can live life pain-free. So if this has helped you out, be sure to hit that like button, share it with a friend, and then subscribe to the channel so you can be up to date every time we post a new video on Thursdays. You guys have a great day. Enjoy living life pain-free.